Well, hey, everybody, it's Lex Jordan from PDQ.com. That was a killer intro, wasn't it?
Yeah, just meandering sentences. I'm really good at those.
Meandering sentences.
Because they're at a handicap with not having camera 2.
I know.
I'm going to go to camera 2 now.
Camera 2 now.
Yeah, jump to camera
There
1.
you go.
There you go.
Camera 1, camera 2.
Anywho, guys, we're going to be going over getting data in and out of inventory and deploy. A couple of different ways to get stuff, obviously, in and out. I guess I said that already. Today, we're going to be talking about the redundancy of redundantness. So, okay. Anywho, let's just start out by talking about how to get machines, the many ways to get, machines into inventory. So the first thing, in regards to talking about that, let's go to preferences and options in inventory and look at Active Directory. Okay. Here's the Active Directory sync. Now, before we do a sync, we probably need to talk about this delete mode, because it can be kind of confusing, right? So now we'll just start at the top. The import only, right? So AD is considered holy, and we don't do any changes to that. So in this case, if you selected import only, it would import machines that are in your AD into inventory. But let's say if you deleted a machine from Active Directory, it wouldn't get deleted out of inventory, which is great if you want to keep some legacy information on old machines. Okay. On the flip side, we have got the full sync, right? And basically what that does is it only allows you to have Active Directory machines in your inventory. So anything added in inventory, if you obviously set the sync up to run automated, is going to get added, and anything you delete is going to be deleted during those syncs. This one here, I like this, probably my favorite.
I think mixed is the way to go.
Okay. Why would you? Okay.
If you're first running the product and all you have is machines in AD, then full sync is great because it's always going to have what's in there, keep up to date. But if you have either machines that aren't on the domain or machines that you have manually put in there, if you put it to full sync, it's going to delete those on the next cycle through. Where mixed sync, it will keep those and still keep it up to date based on Active Directory. So if your environment is purely on AD, then you're probably fine. But if not, I think mixed is probably the way to go.
Oh, time out here. Are we talking about perfect environments? We all have perfect environments, right?
I don't think even our lab is a perfect environment.
Okay. So I am with Jordan. If you have stuff that is not an AD, mixed sync is probably a safe bet, guys. Okay. So I'm going to add mixed sync here. Now you'll notice if I scoot this over a little bit, you'll see this is what it looks like the first time you run this. You're going to have the machines loaded on. In this case, it's Guinness. Okay. Now you do need to grab your container. So we're going to include a container. Now you notice I already grabbed mine at the top level. If you were going to have multiple domains, right, you would come in here to change your domain. You can add multiple domains, okay? When you're adding those, again, you're going to need credentials for each of those domains, so you can do multiples, okay? The nice thing about this, when you add these, I'm going to give that an okay. It's already been added. We'll hit save, and then I'll sync now, okay? Boom, you see that just jumped up to 65. Interesting thing about that, you're going to find out how dirty your AD is. I mean, how many machines that are still there that haven't been deleted, that kind of thing. So, as you notice, Charles McGill, Jake Webb. Apparently, Jake's not working today. I don't know, but just messing. But you'll notice
he does ever as work.
Yeah, that's a good point. But what he does well.
Is anything that any of us do work?
I no.
I'm going to get philosophical here.
No, I was going to defend myself, but no.
I'm going to go with All right, so you notice I just did the scan status, right? And these are a bunch of these machines probably should be legacy, or they're machines that are going to be in our new lab. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to get rid of, and to get rid of these, when I highlight these, right, and hit delete, once again, this is read only. We do not mess with Active Directory. So I just got rid of all those machines from inventory. When that sync runs again, they'll come right back in. A couple of ways to go about preventing that, since we're talking about it, is one, if you go into Active Directory and mark all those machines as disabled, okay, you won't see it. Or you could put them in a container and exclude it. Okay, I haven't done that yet because let's just call it lazy. All right. So that's one way to get machines in to your inventory is your AD sync. I am going to go add how they came in. So added from, okay, I'm going to add that in here. I'm going to fix that. I'm going to close that. And there it is, added from AD sync, right? And there's my default machine. I am going to go and make those alphabetical because it just drives me nuts if I don't. Jordan, what's another way we can get machines in?
No, you can do it from a list.
A list. A list.
Notepad.
Okay, so to do that, we go to not collection. If you click on collection, you're hitting the wrong thing. Go to add computers and by name. Now, I could go in here and add them onesie twosie, right? If I could type, but we all know I can't, right? So let me show you how this is actually going to work. So I'm going to go here. We're going to make a file in our notepad real quick, and we'll import machines. Man, my mouse is going crazy. I got to blame something because heaven forbid I did something wrong, right?
Yeah, I'm sure it was the mouse.
It's the mouse, yeah. All right, so if you're going to import from a list of machines, right, it's just one computer per line, right? Holy crap, I typed all that without a problem. All right, we'll just save this on my desktop for now so it's easy to find. Save as. Did I have a list of computers already?
Yeah, list of computers on the desktop.
Yeah.
We chose to save it just because adding it wasn't really saving a lot of time anyway.
Yeah, okay.
You really
There it
didn't
is.
have to type any of that?
Nope.
I just wanted to show I can type. You
He
guys
did
wouldn't-
so well.
But
Evidence.
you crushed it.
You guys
crushed
are
it, Lex.
mean.
I'm proud
I
of you.
never knew.
I'm going to get rid of these guys, okay? Boom. And we are going to go in here and to computer, add computers by name. I'm going to add Bub because I can type Bub, right? I hit, or I can import, right? Now, before I import, let's say these machines happen to be non AD machines, right? So you need to have local admin credentials. So before you go and import this list, you need to select the credentials you want to add them with. So in this case, here's my local admin credentials, import listo computers, boom. Okay, and you'll notice this is the scan user it's going to list them or add them with. If I did that wrong, I need to delete it and do it again. I'm going to give it an OK. Notice it was added by name, and it is going in and doing the scan. So that's another way to get machines in, okay? You can add them by name. Final way, and this is kind of the UFC version of things, right, is the network scan. I'm not a big fan of this because it pisses off your security guys. Well, I guess I could call them, huh? Well, you just smiled, Jordan. What are your thoughts?
Well, it is very chatty. It is looking for any device that has an IP address, basically.
It's gonna anything that answers a ping, it's gonna try and add. So it'll add your IP phones. It'll add a bunch of stuff that we can't scan. So just understand it is what it is.
Yeah, so
Any other?
if it
Oh, go
responds to a ping, it is going to add it to inventory. That doesn't mean we're going to be able to do something with it. Like printers, you might be able to do something where you could build a tool, custom tool, or open up the web browser to modify it. But the device itself is not going to understand how to scan. It has to be Windows.
Very good. All right, let's talk about another way to get data in regards to deployments. Okay, and that would be, let's just take a look at. Well, I guess maybe before we do this, should we take a question?
Sure, I've got one for you.
So, can you set AD sync to sync without scanning? Not that I am aware. Okay, so here's the thing, right? If you go in and you look at how AD sync's set up, right? Autosaved every 7 days. Now, I just did a sync, so I don't know. Should we save that and see if it doesn't scan? Let's do it. Save it. Exit. So these initially were scanned today. Now, if you were to set that sync up like 7 or 8 days from now, because the scan hasn't happened in that long, it will go and do that scan, I'd imagine. Wouldn't it?
It's going to run whatever the default scan is.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess if you made your default scan profile not have a scan in there, it might skip it. But then the default scan is always going to be nothing, not just when you do
Yeah.
a sync.
Yeah, it seems a little weird. I don't know. All right. Do you want to do another question, or should I talk about getting data into deploy?
Let's get data in.
All right, I love that. All right, so let's talk deploy. some wonderful ways to get data into Deploy. So we all know, let's say, we're going to use our super dir test package. Just I'm interested. Jordan, what does this do? I did a dir.
It could be anything.
Oh, it does a dir. Well,
All right.
that makes absolute sense. Well, it's a good test package because it's really kind of... Now, we go to deploy, right? Deploy once. And, of course, first off, if you type in a machine that you know, Bugs Bunny, you're going to be able to get it that way. You can choose targets again. Everybody knows this, right? Active Directory, inventory. Well, as we move down a little further, we got Spiceworks, okay? To do Spiceworks, you actually have to have a Spiceworks server set up, obviously, and then you need to go into Options and Preferences to surprise, we're right there, Spiceworks.
See if you can do this live.
Do you think? Can I do it?
No
We tried
pressure.
it the other day, man.
No
I
pressure.
failed miserably. All right, host name of the computer. I installed Spiceworks on a machine called Site2, okay? Now,
Handing
because
everything to the hackers.
Well, you know, what do you do, man? I'm pretty sure I set it up on port 80 and I didn't do it secure just because I wanted to see if it would work. I don't suggest you do it this way, but we'll just try it anyways, right? Now, when you set up your Spiceworks server, obviously you got to log in and you need your password, right? Oh man, I think I'm gonna have to type this a couple times.
I hope you put your password in clear text just so we can get our channel banned.
Dude, no, my passwords are not approved for public consumption. Auto sync enabled,
You gotta
4
save.
hours, give it a save.
It's
sync
worth
now.
noting we have port 80 not using SSL. We recommend that you do use SSL and probably port
And
443.
443, yeah, agreed. But again, this was one of those things I did on Monday while drinking in the evening. So, all right, so you'll notice right there we did get a sync done. So in this case, back to the deployment that I stopped. Deploy once. I can now go in and choose targets from Spiceworks. We'll just grab computers. There are all the groups that are in Spiceworks. I spent a lot of time, obviously, working with this. And there we go. Unknowns, virtual machines, web VMs. There we go. So I could go and, well, wireless. Let's just go grab servers. Add those guys, give it an OK. And so now I did grab this from a group in Spiceworks. So if you make other groups in Spiceworks, you can do that way.
Right. In the chat, Bethany
Yeah.
said Spiceworks is going, they're moving their inventory up into the cloud. And I can't guarantee it, but I think if you put the IP address, as long as you have the port and the connection credentials, it should still work. But until it's up there, we can't really test it to find out. That's just my theory right now.
Oh. Should I deploy this? Should I do
I mean,
it?
it's just a dir.
Okay, it's done. All right, while that's running, let's show you some other ways to get things in. We're going to, again, since that's an awesome package, we'll deploy this one again. Now, you can choose from a target list right now. That you need to build in deploy. So to build a target list, you come up here, see this guy right there? New target list. We're going to name this Jordan's Machines and such. Oh man! Oh,
my matches.
you know what? I'm just gonna start with Jordan's. There
Jordan's
we go.
Mackies.
Mackies. Okay. So Jordan, what do you want in your Mackies?
Well, I don't want to disturb these a lot because this is what I use for my Bitcoin mining.
Bitcoin mining. So we could go choose them from. Well, again, you can go choose collections to add those directly. But I guess I'm like the Mad Bomber today, clicking. So all computers will say Bugs Bunny, Chum, Conrad, Clyde, Bing. There we go. There's our Jordan's Mackies. And now, of course, when we decide to deploy, we can choose our target list of Jordan's Mackies right there. Remember, you do need that capital O as the second letter, otherwise this won't work.
It's Camel Case Plus.
Camel case, is that what it is? All right, boom, that's going. And then finally, another one you can also, because we have that awesome list of computers, you can do it by selecting a text file. There it is, list of computers. Boom. Okay. Notice this right here. I had those guys originally added in inventory with Vincent, right? So this is a good time to make sure you start deploying using inventory scan credentials. Now, granted, these guys would work with this, but just so you know, make sure that you're choosing the credentials that are going to work with your machines, or let inventory do it for you. So, any thoughts on that, Jordan?
Yeah, so the target list and the text file are nice if you don't have inventory, but usually the best choice is always going to be inventory, where you can have your collections be dynamic, where what needs the update will update for you without you having to worry about going and modifying.
Yeah. All right, so we've given you examples of ways to get information in so you can work with it, right? Let's do some questions before we start talking about getting information out, I guess, or other ways to get things in and out.
Okay. We'll see if I don't sound like a robot this time. Who knows? Is there a way to not display private packages in the list of all deployments so others quit asking me to send them packages I created? Thanks, Doug K.
Sounds great.
Hey, I got a question. I thought if it's in private packages, they can't see them.
They can't see the package. He can see the deployments, though, so when he sends it out from his private packages.
Oh, okay.
And that one, I don't know of a way to hide that, but that is a fantastic idea.
I think, I'm going to disagree. I will disagree. I think it's good that people can see what's been deployed and who's done it. There's accountability there. That's just me.
Yeah, but what?
Oh,
if
come
I
on.
get
There's a.
one- Listen, Alex is gone. This is my time to take advantage of security lapses.
We still have a security guy, though.
Oh man!
Say hi to Bobby.
Hi, Bobby. I was just joking about that security stuff. Don't even worry about it.
All of a sudden, his computer's going to get locked down by the end of the day. I love it. Now, I think there should be accountability. I agree. I don't want them to be able to see what I've been building or how it's built, but yeah, it's okay to see that I sent out the I'm messing with Jordan package, right? Okay.
Perhaps, but maybe accountability could be in such a way with like the event logs instead of showing up in the deployment history where everyone can see it. Where if it's event logs, that could be scraped by the security team.
What are you trying to hide? That's all I have to say.
Nothing from the security team.
Okay. Let's talk about another way to get data into inventory, right? Obviously, there's data that we don't natively house, right? And so we do have custom fields for that. Now, we built one here called department because you can populate department in AD, okay? And in this case, I'm going to show you the royal I, with the use of Jordan's PowerShell. I'm gonna Steve Jobs this one. I've come up with a way to. Okay, we're going to show you the PowerShell on how to actually pull the information and populate the department field using basically some PowerShell and the CLI. Jordan, you want to talk through this one? Let me pop it up real quick.
Yeah, normally in PowerShell, I'm just going to grab the information, assign it to a variable, or either pipe it into the action or assign it to a variable, work with that variable. Our commandlet within PDQ says it requires a file, and I was working around trying to get that. I don't know if maybe using the using variable would have worked, but I was starting to spend more time than was necessary for something where I could just build the CSV, run it, then delete the CSV when it's done. But if the using variable would work, I would actually love to hear about that because the applications would be awesome. But all it's going to do is it's grabbing every computer, the name of the department. It's going to update every custom variable with the department name and then remove the CSV. So it's just a way to query Active Directory instead of manually building the CSV file.
Okay, so you do have to pre-build your custom field in this case, right?
Yep,
Before you run this?
build
Okay.
If you don't, you can put in, there is a command line to build the custom variable. I just did not add that.
Well, we'll run this and see how she flies.
Hopefully well.
I'm feeling it. Apparently, I think I'm going to feel pretty good about it. Let's go take a look. Now, obviously we can go take a look at onesie twosie here. Bugs Bunny, 5th Department.
I went all out on coming
Yeah.
up with appropriate department
Wow.
names.
The other nice thing about custom fields is, once again, I can grab it from here and display it on the front page. Department, we'll add it. Again, I'm going to flag that bad boy to be, or fix it up front there. There it is. Now, hey, check that out. Because I added these by name, and if you right-click on this and go to Scan User, this one is not seen as a machine that comes from AD. so that, to fill that in regards. So
That shouldn't have mattered as long as it exists in AD.
really,
Yeah.
should I run it again?
Well, it's just worth something to look into because what my script does is it queries AD.
Uh-huh.
So if Amigo and Babbitt are in AD, it should have found them. It finds the department attribute and it adds
Okay.
that to import over. So unless the name is different somehow, where the import failed, that should have worked.
Ooh, I wonder if it's because the computer. I don't know. I got some theories on that, but all right. So we've got accounts or departments that have been added at this point.
It also could be something. Maybe when we deleted them, re-added them, we have to do a database cleanup. I'm not sure.
That's a good
I'm
point.
not sure
Yeah.
about that because Guinness is missing too. It absolutely should have handled those.
Hmm.
I will. I'm gonna look into that. I'll have more
Interesting.
next week.
More for you next week. So if you come across that, don't be surprised or overly surprised. Okay. All right. So getting data in, and again, the nice thing here is we are running that command line in this case to read that CSV file. So again, if you can get some information with the computer name and the field information that you want, you can import that into inventory. Now let's talk about do you want to do a question before we talk about getting data out? Okay then.
Is Kelly still here?
Well, if not in the chat, I think it's Brian. It says Brian
Yeah.
there. He said, "How would you make a dynamic collection based off that department?" You want to
Oh,
do
excellent.
that real quick?
Yeah, let's do that. So I'm going to build we're going to call this the Kung Fu. We need to know all the Kung Fu people, right? So I'm going to go in. Now, custom fields are located when you look for them in the computer table. So, department right there. And we'll do contains Kung Fu.
There's a space.
Is there a space?
I put one. I don't know if there is in Kung
Is there a
Fu. I
space
know-
in Kung
I
Fu?
know. I put one in the department. You know what? If you don't want a space, why don't you write the PowerShell to make randomly?
Fine. It will be the Kung Space Fu. There it is. There's everybody from Kung Fu. Obviously, we need those guys to offset the super spies, right?
Obviously.
Okay.
I mean,
Thank you. That was a good question, and we'll debate how to spell Kung Fu. I'm probably wrong. I would probably go with someone else.
if you wanted to change, you better learn some PowerShell.
I'm going to do what he said.
And
All right,
maybe,
let's talk
maybe some Chinese.
some Chinese. Okay. I'm not going down the rabbit hole. You guys are just pushing me.
We
Just-
are.
Just,
Just testing your limits, man.
All right, so he said he doesn't want to create them. We're talking about, we didn't randomly create the departments. I just wrote a PowerShell script to fill out that field with random ones. If they're already filled out in Active Directory, the script in there will pull that for you. You don't have to create them.
do we got RSAT tools on here so we go pull that real quick?
Yeah, we should.
I probably need to look at users, Active Directory. Here we go. So let's go pull one of the machines really quick and see what computers. Oh, they were all right there. Why do I feel like I am? All right. Babbitt. If we go take a look at, where's department information stored, Jordan?
Attribute editor.
Attribute editor. So we're actually pulling that from, there's this in department, boom, accounting. So we should see, what was that, Babbitt? And did I remove I removed the department from here.
And that is not filled out by default in Active Directory. And
Yeah.
when you do a get AD computer, it doesn't grab that property automatically. So you have to put dash properties and specify department to be able to find that when you pull in AD.
All right. So let's look at Buddy, because apparently I grabbed one that didn't populate. So Buddy is in, there it is, accounting. So yeah, pulled it from AD. Thanks. Yeah, close, cancel. All right, let's get some data out, right? So let's say you wanted to get some information from PDQ inventory out to either the accounting department. So speaking of, let's go we'll do a report, okay? To get your data out, do a report because you want detailed information, right? We want computer, we want department, okay? I don't know what other kind of information you're going to want in accounting on machines. we'll just say, we'll look at local disk, right? And then we'll say, I don't know why accounting would want this. I'm flailing here, guys. Free space, I guess, right? Or maybe we just want the spies. Super spies want to know how much disk space you got, right? So we'll go in and say the computer department contains, I hope that I spell this right. Is there a space in super spy?
Here we go again.
I don't.
I'm
you
going to
guys-
guess there is, yeah.
Spy export. You guys
Place
suck.
your wagers, everybody.
You guys, is it, when I say you guys suck, it's really I suck. Okay.
Soy export.
Let's see if this runs. Here goes. Boom. All right. Phew. Never question myself until the next time I do something, right? So at this point, you could actually go save this as a CSV file. Okay. Right now, do it once, boom. But the name of the game is automation, right? So spy export, right? I'm going to go here into auto reports, new auto report. Okay. What I'm going to do is we'll just call this the spy export, right? And again, if you're going to do this on a regular basis, right, it's probably best to stick it somewhere where you know that you have another process can grab it, right? So again, a good solid UNC path, right? In this case, we're going to drop it on the desktop just so I can show you it did it. Now the file name, if you're going to continue to rewrite it, I would just say, just do the report name and overwrite it, right? So pump it out as a CSV, overwrite the file, okay? And then we're running it weekly on, I don't know, we'll say Monday mornings at 11 a.m. That works for me. And then attach the report, right? Super spy. Okay. We'll just run that once to verify that it works. Run now. And minimize. Where is super spy? Bring it on.
It's gone.
It's coming. It's going to be here.
Wish we could use the Jeopardy music
Dun, dun,
without getting
dun,
without
dun,
getting a copyright strike.
dun, 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 dun. Did I actually hit run now? Watch me get two of them now. Right click, run now. All right, so we do know that's running now, and it is going to go on my desktop.
You shouldn't take that long, though.
Are you thinking I did something wrong?
Are we sure it's on
What
the
you
desktop?
do?
What'd I do this time? Details. Quintana desktop.
Yeah.
Should be there.
Interesting.
All right. So here comes the troubleshoot. You know, I got to say, sometimes things do not go to plan when we do this stuff live. So the nice thing, the good thing, if you can take last run was successful. I wonder if it's just not showing up
So
here.
just try putting it in the Autobot assembly folder, just to be a different location. I don't think there's an issue with it being on the desktop, but
All right, let's put it on the Autobot assembly. Because Autobot assembly, really?
I don't know why I name things the way that I name them.
Yeah, let's also go verify I saved that.
Why
report
are
properly.
you the way
Yeah.
you are?
Why am I?
I was
Right.
talking to Jordan.
Oh,
I do things that seem clever at the time, and then I have to look at them later and feel bad about myself.
Like, what was I thinking here?
F5.
Still not there, huh?
I'm gonna. Fine.
I
I
found
did
a
something
bug.
wrong. Might have found a bug or I did something wrong. Well, the other
Oh,
way
you
I
have
can get
report as no attachments.
report only. Oh,
That
there you go, guys.
Ta-da!
So
You got to
was
do it right
working
the first
great.
time.
It did exactly what we told it to.
Yeah, go ahead and run this. Just don't put anything out.
the product
glad-
works.
It does what you. There it is. Super
All
Spy
right.
export. All right, I'm gonna delete this stuff. So there's only Amigo in it. Maybe. Okay, save it, and then I'm gonna write over it, just to prove that I can do something right eventually. All right. So next time this runs, it should overwrite it. I think that's been long enough. Yep. There you go. So that's the way to get data out. Now again. It's going to do exactly what you tell it to. So if you forget a step, walk through them like Jordan did so that you can do them right. So we are the most professional webcast on the internet.
You know, it took me a long time to find that. I should have just gone to the chat where Kobe finds it right away.
Kobe's like, you did it wrong again.
I was wondering if you were going to give him credit.
I had no idea. Yeah, I should have.
I'm glad you guys are there to correct me because you know what? I get nervous, and that's why I have to drink while I do these. Let's do like a speed round if we got some questions.
We have a couple. I'm going to take the announcer status since
Since
Kelly
I sound
has-
like a robot half
Kelly
the
has
time.
turned into a veritable
Yeah.
robot. I work for a school district, and we are using more Chromebooks than Windows machines. What will PDQ do with Chrome devices? Thanks, Jeremy.
Hey, Jeremy M. Now, again, if you wanted to get those in, because I don't know, unless you can you add Chromebooks in Active Directory. You can add them in DNS. I don't know, Active Directory. Here's the thing, right? Our software is written on a .NET base, so until either Chrome allows .NET to do some scanning and or we come out with an agent for Chromebooks, the best we can do is go in and add those computers by a network scan. And then if you do happen to set up the tool that allows you to go in and do an HTTPS to that or a PuTTY, you can build a tool to do that. That's what you can do with that Chromebooks in this case with using
It is going to
inventory.
be a little limited, though.
Yeah. Next question.
It's a two-parter, JJ.
Oh, our final question is: there is an interesting thread on Reddit with most lacking features in your products. Could you rise? I'm sorry. That's right. Could you rise to this list and give some response statement, thumb up, or at least do whatever? Why is there PDQ Reddit when you don't listen to the community? Change your attitude. Regards, Jay-Z and Beyonce.
Change my attitude? All right.
Doesn't sound exactly like a question, does it?
Unfortunately, this is.
Should I answer the change my attitude? Or?
This is
No,
upbeat as like
let's-
skits. If he changes his attitude, it's for the worst. So a few things. Actually, I read through the thread you listed, and there are some great ideas in there. The most common requested one is agent. If we miss stuff like this, that PDQ Reddit forum is hosted by the community, not by us. So we do check in and out on it, but we're not in there
We
all the
can-
time. So if
we
something
can
falls
miss some
behind,
things.
Yeah. So if it is important, there's other avenues to get to us for that one. There was one in there, an idea to use Grafana. I thought that was brilliant. That was by
What's Grafana?
it's a way to take the data and put it into a graph.
Oh, huh.
So there are some ideas in there. Unfortunately, these questions are difficult for us because we can hear ideas and think that's great, but we don't control that. There's developers that are way smarter than us.
We're just the on-air faces.
Yeah, so we can say, like, especially in the case of agent, we are aware of how important that is, but
We are working on that one, yeah.
So what happened with that one is what made our product so popular is it was agentless. So for smaller environments that didn't need an agent, it was a huge win. When it came time, we had more and more customers asking for an agent. We tried to shoehorn that into the existing product, and the infrastructure was not correct, which is why it was so buggy and we had so many issues. So instead of continuing with something that wasn't working, we're building something that is, I believe, going to be awesome for everybody. I unfortunately just can't give a timeline.
Yeah. We do like your suggestions, and we do try to make sure that the suggestions that come in are widely usable by many, many, many people, many different corporations. So that's the other thing that we take into consideration. Any other thoughts, JJ, Kelly?
Yeah, there's, like you said, there's a balance between what we are capable of doing with the amount of resources that we have and what provides us the most value to everyone. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's difficult to do multiple things simultaneously too, because there are a lot of great ideas.
Yeah.
We just can't implement all of them at the same time. But agent, we totally get that and are working on that.
Were that we could.
Yep. Is it camera 2 time?
It is whatever you can do with that, yeah.
Hey, everybody. Hey, I do appreciate you guys watching and your patience when things do not go to plan here because, this is live, which is kind of fun. Hopefully you got some good information on how to get data in and out of deploying inventory, and appreciate you guys watching from PDQ.com. I'm Lex.
I'm Jordan.
catch y'all later.
Thank you for being a part of our webcast today. If you had questions that we were not able to get to today, feel free to reach out to our support forums. Thanks again for joining us, and we'll see you back here next week.